Angela. Good to have you here with us today. It's good to have a conversation. A lot of people are asking questions about this women's leadership upcoming course that we're doing on leadership specifically for women interested in planetary health, this link between health and sustainability. So today I think it's good to have just a chat to understand a little bit what people can expect during this course, and maybe understand a little bit about yourself, your own experience and some of your suggestions. And so could you tell us a little bit, what can you expect if people are entering this course? And tell us a little bit, what are we going to do in 6 weeks, I believe?
You want some of the juice. Sure. And so this is a course to really help you step into your own personal power, your own personal leadership power. So it's really about, it's not about anyone telling you what to do or telling you how you should do things. It's really about, who am I as a leader? How do I show up as a leader? And knowing more about who I am or who you are, then you get to go back into your own communities and really create the future that you're imagining for your own communities. Because one of the key things about leadership is actually impacting the future. But in this course isn't going to tell you how you should do it. It's going to give you the tools to empower yourself to do what you believe is the best thing.
Exactly. So it's really because people think, there's no magic formula, right, to change ourselves or the future, but there are tools out there that can make us more effective, more confident, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, it's really interesting. I love the way you say there's no magic formula. The magic formula is practice. The magic formula is action. So we spend a lot of time, especially intelligent women, collecting more information and always more information. And is this course going to give you more information? No, it's not actually. It's going to give you, like you said, tools. So we'll be working with different distinctions around leadership. For example, you were talking about confidence, which is really important, but we'll be looking at what is commitment. When I stand in commitment, what does that look like? We'll be looking at women and what are the boundaries that we create, and how fluid are our boundaries and how porous are our boundaries. We'll be looking at things like resilience. What does that mean to you, resilience? And resilience we often look at as that rubber band metaphor, where we keep bouncing back. Well, I have some opinions about that myself. So while this course won't be about my opinions, it will be about presenting maybe another metaphor, which is like becoming more like water, becoming more like the power of water. So that is about, learning not just to resist, but to flow, and in adaptation, not to lose yourself completely. So how do I adapt? How do I create boundaries around me? How do I stay strong? How do I, developing confidence. I know I'm on a bit of a roll here, but confidence is, I think we put too much emphasis on confidence. So we'll actually be looking at what is more important than confidence. And for me, it's having a mission that's bigger than you, really standing, and I say the word standing in your mission, like owning it and having that be your guide. So it'll be looking at putting words on your mission as well, really imagining it in the future as if it already existed, and then coming up with tools and a plan yourself to actually bring that mission into existence.
And that's so important, right? Because I think we're calling and when discussing about how we're going to do it, it's like for women who needs to make the impossible happen. And I think it's perfect for planetary health, because it looks so impossible and makes us maybe also stressed, because there are so many big challenges that looks like we cannot solve. But we can start with our own missions and impacting your own communities. So that's really super important for people who are passionate about planetary health. What are you saying?
It is. It's exceptionally important, and the importance of this program as well is that you don't have to do it alone. And what I have noticed in exceptionally capable women who really are heart-led and who do have a big mission is that they still take on a lot themselves. They're the doers. So how can we create the space for self-care? How can we create the space for regeneration and resourcing of ourselves so that we have more energy? But that also involves creating community, creating like support communities around you. So that's what this is all about as well. Not doing it all by yourself, and letting go of being the one who does everything as well. So that's also stepping into leadership, is like, what are the teams you're creating around you? And no big mission was ever achieved alone.
That's true. That's what I'm the passion that I have, and the reason I continue doing nurturing the women leaders of Planetary Health, it's because we cannot do this alone. If I wanted to do this alone, it would be impossible. And that's why also I'm so grateful that I have people like you joining us in this mission, and with so much passion as well. Because I think one of the most valuable things that people can get out of this experience, this course, is the community that they will build and meet. That's amazing and transformative. So I think that's a very powerful incentive as well.
Yeah, that's true. And that word that you just used, transformation, that is a big part of leadership. Leaders transform something. They don't keep going with the status quo. Their impact is transformational. And so being in a group of transformational leaders is a very, very, very powerful place to be. Mm-hmm. And that's what you just said, they will definitely find within this course. And you were saying that we don't, there isn't a magic formula, but there is, we can look at ways that each of us are holding ourselves back. And I say each of us because it's an ongoing process. We always, when we have a big dream, have our own ways of like our patterns of holding ourselves back. So we'll look at what are our perfect systems that we have, each of us, for not moving forward as well or as fast as we could, or in a depletion mode or scarcity mode, or not quite achieving what we really want to achieve. So like, it's called being at cause. Like, we always think there are circumstances holding us back. It's most often ourselves in some way. Mm-hmm. So and that's one of the distinctions we'll look at, the difference between responsibility and fault. So we're not looking at being at fault or being bad or being wrong, but okay, what is happening that whatever the circumstances around me, I'm not managing to move forward. And so what we want to do is give you the keys to unlock that. Look at what it is that you might be doing, or how you are more being in a situation, actually, is more the case. And then what will help you unlock being a different way. And from when you are a different way, you start taking different actions, and then things start resolving.
Yeah. And that being said, it doesn't mean, of course, because I think people have already so many tools, right? We're not trying to fix people, but it's like really make them flourish, right? Get what they already have as at best, and maybe accelerate their impact. I think that's how I see it also.
I heard you said the other day really beautifully, because what you just explained sounds like I just need more information. We do not need more information. We know what needs to be done. And we even know, look, even in terms of, I might say like reducing sugar or something. We all know sugar is bad for you, but we still keep eating sugar. So it's not more information we need. Mm-hmm. And the way I heard this explained the other day was so beautiful. It was, I think it was Michelangelo who said, in a block of marble, excuse the door slamming in the background, there's some wind around here. In a block of marble, you don't have to make a statue out of the block of marble. You took away what wasn't needed, and the beauty of the sculpture came out from underneath. And I think that's it. It's not about fixing. People don't need to be fixed. And that's also, I think, part of what's been a problem with leadership and many other programs, personal development programs. And then you have to fix yourself. Mm-hmm. I really don't believe that. I think what you need to do is reveal yourself, reveal all of the aspects of you.
I think that's powerful, right? Because people tend to think already, oh, there's something wrong with me, then I get more information, then I do this better. And I agree, that's absolutely not the case. Women are highly informed, and we have structures of power also there who perhaps don't allow them to flourish the way. That's another thing that we are looking at as well in the courses that we are offering. But why do you think then, because we're focusing on women here, right? Leadership is for everybody, but we're motivated to get, targeted female leaders. And how do you see that? Why you're also passionate about empowering women specifically?
Well, I have been passionate about empowering women now for more than 25 years, but 25 years ago, I was working for UNESCO in women's education. And what really struck me recently, and I mean, struck me a few years ago, was that all of the work I was doing back then is still being done now. And the progress, I don't think there isn't enough progress. I'm going to validate and acknowledge and honor the progress that has been made, but it still seems it's believable because it's happened, but it's still unbelievable to me that women still aren't in 50% of leadership positions worldwide. And as 50% of the population, if nothing else than because of that, I think we should be. Yeah. And it's important. And we bring, 50% of the adult population. It's
hard to believe, right? It's just sometimes it's like, what's going on? But that's true. And at the speed that we are advancing or not advancing, we're going to need, even in developed countries, like more than 100 years to perhaps achieve equality. So we're very far. And that's why I see also my work. And, I want to wake up every day and do something that is bigger than myself, right? That you feel motivated. And I think that's such a beauty of, at least what I'm passionate about my work, is that every day you feel you're on vacations a little bit. Of course, there are some annoyances and not every day is easy, but when you feel committed, like that's also committed to the difference you want to make in this world, is so much easier to leave, right? Instead of going to the crisis, doing everything that you don't want because of social pressure or what people think you should be doing. And then later you have to do this, go back and say, oh, who am I? Oh, what do you want to do? So it would be much easier if you could do this even, because, so if we just concretely how this is gonna happen, right? We're gonna have I think we could explain a little bit of how many sessions and how long, what people, if they sign up to this, what's gonna happen?
So what's going to happen is there will be transformation within a 6-week period. So we're going to have 6 sessions within 6 weeks. We're looking at exact days for that. It may be a Thursday, but that will be finalized at some after we've had a few more discussions, you and I. So 6 sessions of an hour and a half. And I love the way you use the word commitment, because what I noticed about myself as a woman, and being socialized that way and being part of a global feminine unconscious, women often put everybody else before themselves. And I'm also a mother of 3. So this is about being committed, standing in a commitment for your own leadership and the impact that you want to make on the world. So almost, I would say that whatever time we put it, we make it. If you come from commitment, you'll make it happen. We'll make it happen for you. And still, it's in bite-sized chunks. It's over 6 weeks, an hour and a half. There will be, within that time, I'll be doing, a short presentation, but it's not so much about me talking as about you sharing how the different distinctions that we'll be working on with leadership impact you, how you see them in your life, and then applying it to your own life in the week between the sessions. So it's actually very practical. Again, it's not a lot of, I'm coming in for more information. It's actually going to be a lot of, oh my goodness, I'm going to be working with this material right here, right now, in real time. And so you'll be looking at what the results are that you want when we start. And we'll be looking at, wow, what's changed and what's transformed 6 weeks later in such a short time span. So you may or may not change the whole world, but you will definitely have transformed and shifted something for yourself in your way of being in the world, in your way of seeing the world. And then you can use that to cause greater impact in your own community.
And definitely, like you're saying, we want not anybody, right? We want committed, passionate, female, aspiring leaders. They are already leaders, but they want to do better. So that's, I think we can finalize a little bit with this invitation, right? If people commit to this, it's a real commitment.
It's an absolute commitment, and it's not about incremental improvement. This is where we go back to it, not having to fix yourself. it's really bringing out all of who you are. So we'll be looking at your strengths, but not just your strengths, your essence. What is the essence of you? What really defines you, how you show up and how you be in the world? So it's deeply personal, and it's you know, it can be, it's really inspiring. For that, I mean, the leadership programs that I run, people, the women afterwards have created the most amazing things for themselves in their lives, in their leadership, for the communities around them. And they've really, shifted a way of seeing the world and a way of being that's created so much more impact. And so, yes, it is commitment, and we cannot, and this is where, you know, this is where I get to hold the container for you. We all have circumstances. Every single one of us has, you know, contexts that are that can be really disempowering or really big challenges. So while there's a definite holding and respect of the different cultural contexts, religious, all sorts, and even, you know, like local, whatever it might be, environments, that is taken into account. And what is true is that the human being, and I'm going to say, I'm not saying women in particular, but because we're working with women, we have so much capacity that's not revealed. And so this is where you get to not use your circumstances as an objection against moving forward. There are sufficient people in the world who have made great headway in the worst or the most difficult and challenging circumstances. So while we will hold the reality of there is a glass ceiling for women and the playing field isn't level, yes, that's true. And in you know, some countries we are in the middle of wars and famines, and that is true. There's no denying any of that, and there is still possibility to create an impact. And so that's where we want to come from.
And I think there really is this seeds of hope, and we need to focus on them, on the positive impact that we can, you know, do in this, especially in this post-pandemic world. We want to see things a bit different, right? After all this traumatic global experience, I think we're ready to do things differently. That's why it's so exciting to have this course coming up. So we're going to start in September. So for 6 weeks, probably, we're deciding the day, but it will be kind of lunchtime. So in Europe, so we can, it's going to be a highly global group, because we have already pre-selected some special women who will be awarded some scholarships for that. But other people could also join the group from developed countries, because this one specifically, we are supporting low and middle income countries, people who are living in this area. So I'm also very passionate about is we need more women from the global south to play roles of leadership, you know, in this global governance and the way we are trying to shape the next. So that's something I'm very happy about, that we can also, that we'll be able to do that together. And is there anything else that we should say before we close this? Am I forgetting something?
No, you're not forgetting anything, but you just really inspired me. I think it's so important what you just said. It really links into a conviction that I have, which is that we are responsible, and I don't mean at fault, we are responsible for creating the post-pandemic world. And I really believe that leadership needs to be redefined and recreated from, when I say the ground up, from people who aren't necessarily already in what we would call traditional leadership positions, in terms of if you're looking at leadership as a hierarchy. So if we define now leadership as somebody who impacts the future, who changes the shape of the future, that is open to everybody. And I believe that that is where women from the global south and everywhere have their place of creating a new world. And I not only do I believe it's possible, but like you, I'm an active part of having that change happen. So yeah.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing this, you know, the most important insights and giving this overview. I think people get even more excited. We have everyday questions. How can I get involved? And now here's a concrete example. Get involved through this, and let's transform this post-pandemic world together. Thank you, Angela, so much. And I'll see you very soon.
I really look forward to it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.